Have I got some exciting news for you lot? There's some great things coming from the RSGB and a lot of the clubs throughout England. It's called Beyond Exams. And I'll go through what that actually means throughout this video. So let me begin by saying, hi, my name's John. Amateur radio call sign M7CPT. Welcome to Amateur Radio on the Air. Okay, as I said, big changes coming. First of all, I don't know if you've noticed, I'm not using this microphone. Let's get it out of the way. I've got a little lavalier microphone that I'm trying out for a while and see how it goes. It's one of the cheapest lavaliers I could actually get, and I didn't want to go for the Rode microphone because that leaves a massive square that you've got to hide, and that's awkward. But big changes coming through from the RSGB and a lot of the clubs within the UK. What brought about these changes? That was the problems that occurred with lockdown. During lockdown, the practical exams were removed from the requirements for your license. This left a lot of skills that are basically lacking. I, for one, still have never used a manual tuner. I don't know how to, other than watching the videos that the RSGB have released, which are a bit long-winded to say the least, and don't really provide a practical experience. So what's changed? With the end of lockdown, the practicals are still not required at this moment in time. I don't know if they'll ever come back, but in the meantime, you can still gain a lot of practical knowledge by going to the clubs that have got the equipment, and they're going to be providing the practicals on request, along with some other extremely useful skills. The things that are going on this section do include, there's 6 videos on this website. I'll place a link to the website in the description. Well, these videos here cover the Slim Jim or J-pole for 270 SAMs. They cover the common mode choke ballon. Soldering of a PL259 onto coax. Using a nano VNA or antenna analyzer to tune a dipole. And connecting the audio of your radio to your computer, as well as connecting cat control to your computer. So it can all interlink. But just below these videos, there's a section I want you to pay particular attention to. It's this section here, Beyond Exams. Now, the Beyond Exams link, let me just click it. It'll open up a new window for you. And in this section, you'll notice there's club schemes, individual schemes for building experience, Radcom Basics. Now, the Radcom is the RSGB's magazine, for those of you that don't know. Getting started, they have online information through various different sites, including Facebook, and also on YouTube. The Foundation Practicals, they have a complete set of videos on the practicals, actually on their website. If you go to their website and go to the playlists, there's a playlist for them, so you can actually watch through the whole lot in your own time. There's also on the same site useful practical skills videos that have various different in-depth topics that are well worth going into. Under the club section, you'll find a list of things that the clubs are being asked to do that are part of this scheme. These include different activities, from just having a go, getting involved, taking part, making, building a piece of amateur radio related electronic or mechanical equipment for your shack, or writing software for amateur radio. They've also got a section on promoting amateur radio. Different sections here are well detailed, and I suggest you go through them all and read what's there. There are certificates: bronze, silver, gold, platinum, and diamond for the different activities. Up to 23 activities, it looks like. How to recognize your achievements. How long do you have to complete the scheme? There is no limit. So you can take as long as you like or do it as fast as you like. It's totally up to you. Can you take part without registering with an accredited club? This is a big one for the clubs. Now, it does actually say that they're asking you to register with a club. They're not saying it's essential. So if the club is prepared to put you through the course without first ensuring that you've actually signed up for the full membership, that becomes up to the club. And to be honest, even if a club doesn't require you to join in order to do the course, I'm pretty certain that before the end of the course you'll see the value of joining clubs. How much does it cost? Absolutely nothing. Some clubs, depending on which activity, may require you to pay for certain parts that they're a bit limited on being able to supply. Examples would be the PL259s. They can't solder and desolder and do that over and over again. So they're not reusable items. The clubs may ask you to place a small amount just to cover the cost. An example of this would be my particular club, Stockport Radio Society, recently did a night of where they were soldering kits. Now, they weren't charging for the teaching, but they did ask for a £5 donation for the actual kit. They were deliberately trying to make cheap kits, or find the cheap kits, so that if you weren't sure whether it was an area that you wanted to go down, you weren't losing a lot. And £5 to find out if you like building your own kits and you like the achievement of building it, that's a very small amount if you ask me. And goes on to what can I do if I have completed the club scheme? Personally, I would say the world's your oyster, and ham radio is a hobby of 1,000 hobbies. So you'll be able to progress within the hobby, and hopefully you'll know which areas you enjoy the most, or at least which areas you don't. Stuff that you can do as an individual. Yes, there are activities that you can do as an individual. Contesting digital imaging from satellites, also known as slow scan TV. General operating, learning and research, making and building kits, operating awards, participation activities for non-contest. Methods of promoting ham radio will also be discussed. Special event stations, demonstrations, social media, tinkering and experimenting, and goes on about how the rewards are achieved, how you take part, how to join in. There's a lot to read on this one. And finally, Radcom Basics. As I said, Radcom is a magazine released from the RSGB, and if I remember rightly, I think it's a PDF format. You get different topics covered, and with the basics, they're actually covering the basic skills, not just all the advanced stuff. So whatever your level, you're bound to find something in there that you will enjoy. Right. In this first section, you can actually see Tony M6NAE, the club chairman, at the back there, talking somebody through their first ever kit build, making sure he's got all the health and safety stuff in place, wearing his glasses and making sure the soldering iron's switched on, and everything's sorted and ready to go. Now he shows him how to clean the soldering iron and how to tin the end, get it ready. That's ready to start soldering. He just puts a little blob on the board, just attacking the first component. It's also showing him how to hold the soldering iron in a way that keeps the soldering iron steady. You'll notice he's actually resting his hand on the table when he can. Move the batteries out of the way, just needs to hold the board a little bit more. Careful, Tony, watch them fingers. Tony watches him whilst he just continues doing the soldering on his own until he's ready for Tony to move away. Here you can see there's actually, well, you can see 3 people. I think there was a 4th at one point. 2 of them are making the radio kit. For anyone that doesn't actually have equipment, the club has equipment that they can actually use. We do have one person using his own soldering iron there, at least. I think the other 2 are using club soldering irons. And the mats, soldering mats, are actually provided by the club. Each person's being given instructions as they need, so they can actually progress at their own speed. I'll just speed the rest of this clip up because watching rather than doing does seem to be a little bit on the boring side for some people, so.
Market building days are numbered.
Take a listen to that. That is proper good. It's stereo.
Awesome!
It's
Awesome!
stereo.
Hang on, we'll take a picture.
The
Now
signal's
still
pretty
want
good.
the picture. That is brilliant. Ready?
Well,
Yeah.
yeah.
Brilliant.
That is actually. That little bit of wire there has made all the difference.
Was it a little aerial?
Yeah.
That was the first kit completed and actually listened to on headphones, so I don't have to worry about copyright breaches or anything like that.
They all doing? They all working? Yeah, it's brilliant, this.
Adjustable as well?
Yeah.
Must have missed something off there.
That's mine, off Amazon.
No, 29.99, yeah.
Suddenly Tom's hooked to radio.
Bloody hell, that's a bloody good audio. It is, it's absolutely brilliant. That's the best one I've seen actually. That is really good. Here's one I prepared earlier.
Every kit comes with full instructions for detail and ease of use, and they're all actually checked beforehand to make sure the instructors understand them, at least. If the instructor doesn't understand it, the student's got no chance. And if the instructor does understand it, at least he can explain it in simple terms if needed. Now the kit appears to be finished. Grab a couple of batteries and give it the final power test, see if it works. And there was actually a minor problem here. The LED wasn't coming on. We weren't sure if it was the entire board that wasn't working, the LED.
Yeah, it's not powering up.
In comes Neil, who had done the other one, to try and help with the diagnostics. Neil's done other kits before this one. And because he had one that was working, he was able to compare the two. Look for anything that was out of place. Some kits will actually show you a photograph of the completed kit, so you can actually do this yourself. Discovered that the sound was actually working, so the board was working, it's just the LED wasn't coming on. One possibility at this stage was that the LED could have been put in the wrong way round. But the student assured us that it was actually put in correctly, so on further investigation we discovered that one of the pins on the LED didn't actually have any solder on it. So I instructed him to take the battery out so that we didn't throw a sudden mass of power into the board while he was using the soldering iron on it, and pointed out which pin he'd missed. All he actually needed to do was to drop a little bit of solder on. And we'll put the battery back in, and the LED came on. It's just left the antenna to get attached. So he took one of the batteries out, worked out which pin required the antenna wire. I told him that it'd be easier if he tinned the wire first to stop it from spreading out. Looks a little unconventional, but worked. Just the right amount of solder on the wire. Clean the soldering iron before you switch off and go for your final test to see how well it worked. And we have a thumbs up, it's working well. The following day, Neil, one of the students that was constructing the radio kit, released a video of the results. Now, I would like you to pay close attention to his voice. If you listen carefully, you can hear there's a sense of self-pride and accomplishment within his voice.
Morning everyone, quick video on the kit building last night. A big thank you to all involved last night. Really enjoyed it. Thanks to Tom and Tony for helping us out building. So that's the finished article. It is a radio. Nice little kit. And we'll have a look on the back. Did Tom teach me well? There you go. Nice little neat soldering, all done. Once again, thank you to Tom and Tony at the club. Quite enjoyed last night. It was something different. 7-3 for now.
That sense of pride and accomplishment only comes when you create something yourself. Kit building's just one method. For me, making contacts as far away as I can on as little power as possible. That's something that really strikes me. During my first year, I contacted Columbia with 1 watt. And that, to me, was where my sense of accomplishment came in. In addition to the certificates that you see behind me, was the recognition for what I'd done during that first 6 months. Now, that kind of pride and self-accomplishment exists in all areas of amateur radio. As I said, it's a hobby of 1,000 hobbies, 1,000 areas where you can actually experience and have pride in your own self-accomplishment. Now, I don't expect every single club to give away all their information to someone who's not a member, but a lot of the clubs are there to help. Initially, they won't ask you to join. Some clubs already have a certain amount of meetings that you can go to free of charge, so you can get a taste of what it's like to be part of the club. Sure, some clubs prefer you to join the club before you go to any of the meetings. This too can be worth doing, but check the clubs carefully. They should be welcoming to all areas of expertise. Doesn't matter whether you know a lot or a little, they should welcome you the same. I've heard of some clubs that are refusing to accept M7s. That's their loss. Remember that. No judgment on you. It's their loss. This part of the video, I'd encourage as many of the clubs to be part of this scheme to give away a limited amount of free knowledge just to give people a taste of what it's actually like to be part of the club. Show them how the club can help them and give them a motivation to join. Also, see if your club can get involved in activities to bring new people into the hobby. There may be people that don't think they've got what it takes to operate ham radio. These are normally people that don't know what ham radio means. Show them where the senses of accomplishment are, what they can do when they put their mind to it. I think you'll find that if you follow this advice, not only will the number of hams or amateurs increase, the number of club members will also increase drastically. The clubs have had a hard time throughout lockdown. Not every club was able to get online and have online meetings. Stockport Radio Society were one of the lucky ones. They were able to get online, and even now after lockdown, they film their meetings and share them amongst the members that can't be there. As a result, they now have international membership as far afield as Australia. I look forward to welcoming new members into the club and even new amateurs into the hobby. I'll keep an eye out for more clubs that are getting involved in this scheme, and also any further revelations that come out of the RSGB, especially on this level. In the meantime, don't forget, like, subscribe, even share the video to the social media platforms. The more you get the word out, the better it goes. And all that leaves me to say is, catch you on the air.